Well, at Truly Tropical, it is peak season for mango flowers. Back in the end of January, we had temperatures like in the mid-30s, 34, 35. And for us, that was cold. We haven't had a lot of cold temperatures lately, the last few years, and that 34, 35 degrees was definitely cold. We had our big ugly parkas on and walking around the grove. It was quite a sight. But anyway, the good thing was that after a rather warm late fall and early winter, we finally had the cold weather. And cold weather is usually what triggers mango bloom in South Florida. So during the normal time that the mango trees flower, which is usually like December, January, we really didn't have that many flowers. But now, all of a sudden, it's kabloom. There are just a lot of flowers in the grove, and we wanted to show you some of the highlights. So this is one of our Malika trees. It's like crazy amount of bloom, and there are bees flying all over the place looking to pollinate these flowers. And here is one of our ice cream mango trees. Just tons of flowers on this one. We even have a little bit of small fruit from an earlier bloom. The earlier bloom wasn't like this. This is very impressive. So here is our palmer tree, and we have a few fruit from an earlier bloom. Few of the branches had flower panicles on them earlier, but now the whole tree seems to be covered with flowers. So this is one of our Valencia Pride trees. We're not seeing a lot of flowers on the Valencia Pride yet, except right next door. This is a small Valencia Pride that never looks lush. It always seems to struggle, but it's covered with bloom and small fruit, and we expect to get quite a few mangoes from this tree. Well, here is one of our Kent trees, and again, lots of flowers on this tree. And this is fun too, right next door. This is Pettigrew, and Pettigrew, we got just a little bit of early bloom from it, and so you see some small mangoes on the tree, but fortunately there's a lot of flowers on here now. Pettigrew is really a nice late variety. So apparently we'll have some mangoes earlier in the season, and then hopefully a lot of fruit set from this more recent bloom, which is really impressive. So here's one of our graham trees, and it has a lot of flowers in this area. They've got flowers on most of the tree, but this area looks particularly impressive. Here's one of our kit trees, and it is loaded with flowers. So this is our original Ryan mango tree. Now last year it bloomed a lot, but it bloomed earlier in the season and it didn't hold much fruit. This year I think it's good news that it's blooming later in the season. I'm hoping for a really good Ryan crop. We've got a lot of flowers that look nice and healthy, and we even have a few small fruit from when it bloomed a little bit earlier in the season. So this is one of our Cogs Hall mango trees. This is the south side of the tree, and this side especially is really gone crazy with flowers. There are so many flowers on this section that it's actually hard to see the leaves in certain areas, but they're back there working, and we've got like lots and lots of tiny mangoes on these panicles. Not all of them are going to become fruit, but it really looks nice right now. So this is actually our oldest tree in the grove. It's Mulgoba. We've made this tree a lot shorter in the last few years, but this year it is blooming like crazy, especially in this area. So hopefully that translates to like a lot of Mulgoba fruit, because Mulgoba is really a nice fruit. And here's Rosa. Rosa has quite a few flowers all over the place. And this is actually the third time that we've had bloom on this tree. It's a crazy bloomer in all sorts of conditions. But now we have all these fresh flowers, and we have fruit from an earlier bloom. And then here we have Pineapple Pleasure, and look at this beautiful bloom. Just tons of panicles. Now this is a pretty small tree, and the Pineapple Pleasure fruit are pretty big. So even though we have thousands of flowers here, it doesn't translate to even hundreds of fruit. We're going to have just a small fraction of the bloom that actually makes fruit, but we're looking forward to it. This tree is pretty small, it's got a ton of flowers, and hopefully we'll have a good amount of fruit. Here's a variety that actually occurred in our grove. It's Carpe Diem, and we have a lot of flowers here, and we have some fruit. So here is a branch of honeykiss. It goes from here all the way over there and up to the top. And as you can see, we have a lot of honeykiss bloom. So honeykiss is a nice late season variety, and hopefully we'll get a lot of fruit from this. And finally, here's one of our cherry trees. It has some fruit on it and then a lot of flowers. That's because we had just a few flowers earlier on, and now we have a lot of flowers with this recent kabloom in the grove. So we are hoping that we have a good cherry season, because this bloom looks really healthy, and weather permitting, we should have a lot of fruit from that. So this is one of our Edward trees. It's looking gorgeous, and even more gorgeous because it has small fruit and a few more flowers. This is not typical of our mango trees in the grove right now. There's a lot of pretty good sized fruit, and it looks like possibly Edward will have a normal season this year. But as we've been showing you, we have a lot of flowers and not much fruit on a lot of the trees. This is a Julie tree, and as you can see, tons of flowers, a few very small fruit. So what does this mean for mango season 2022? Basically, from flower to fruit, the typical time for mango development is 120 days. So quick guesstimate, that's about 4 months. And so basically, mango season is going to be later than normal this year. Usually June is a really strong month for mangoes, and this year it looks like it's just going to be a little bit later. Instead of having peak season in June and early July, perhaps peak season will start at the end of June and then go through July. We'll just have to see how the different varieties play out. But the good news is we have really abundant and beautiful flowers on the mango trees. We hope that mango season 2022 is going to be a really good one.